Tell me a little bit about your dream to become a professional boxer. When did that start?
Literally, like as soon as I could walk straight, I was training. And then I had my first boxing match when I was 9. From that point on, I started to realize that I had kind of an knack for it and could make a living out of it. I saw a lot of people making a lot of money, and I felt like I had the option to do that. So I made it my full-time, everyday obsession, commitment. And from the time I was probably about 10 years old, if you asked me what I wanted to be, it was a pro boxer.
As a kid or teenager, we all kind of have like a dream life in mind. When you looked ahead at your dream life as a pro boxer and everything that would entail, even when you were a little bit older as a teenager and you were looking ahead at what the lifestyle promised, what did your dream life look like to you?
When you think boxing, when I was thinking boxing, when I was seeing how good I was actually becoming, I obviously just thought dollar signs. And also just ego, I just felt like being the man was going to be, something that was really important to me. And it was really important to me, even growing up into, an 18-year-old, 18-year-old, ego was everything and pride was everything. And, that was part of my dream life. And then also just, if I'm honest, girls, women, was always part of that lifestyle. You saw it, you were taught it. It was not obviously by my parents, but by the life that we were involved in. And it's a very predominant part of the boxing world.
So when you were 17, your dream became reality. You reached pro status. I remember that happening very well. Congrats on your most recent fight, by the way. Very cool, 10-0 still. I really thought the guy was going down in the last 10 seconds.
I wish I had a couple more rounds.
It's okay, it was a great fight. But, at 17, you realize the dream, you become a professional boxer, you're thrown into that lifestyle as a very young man.
Yeah.
What are some of the challenges and struggles that you faced because of that?
I just went head first into kind of a party lifestyle. And that was, basically it was like fight, party, fight, party, fight, party. And that really kind of did a number on my soul, I would say. It really messed me up in more ways than one.
How did, living that dream life as a boxer, how did that leave you empty?
I hadn't really realized I was empty, but what I did know is I was extremely anxious and I had no peace. That was the main thing. I remember feeling so distressed pretty much all the time, and wanting everybody to think of you so highly. That brings so much pressure. It brings an insane amount of pressure because you're on social media and you've got 1,000 comments and you're looking at everybody trying to see them say how great you are. But the truth is 50% of them are saying how terrible you are, and shooting you down in the craziest, most offhanded things that people will say. And it's in your DMs, it's in everything. So when you're looking so hard for people to have the people's approval for yourself, because that's where you get your approval, that breaks you down. But whether I had a fight coming up or I didn't have a fight coming up, or I was just constantly, and I think that's the reason why I drank so much, is because I was constantly trying to escape that. I physically remember, it wasn't even for the fun of it. It was for the release of it,
Okay, what was the wake-up call for you where you decided to walk away from, or walk back to the Lord, maybe? What was the wake-up call that brought you back to the Lord?
There had been a couple fighters who had died in the ring this year. And as that started to happen, I started to see people that were kind of in my position not make it out of the ring. And then I had a couple bad performances where I took more shots than I should have. I started to realize I need to really clean up my act. And I thought that would cure everything, I thought that would cure everything. And it would make me, all of a sudden, my performances would get better and I'd be good. And then mainly, my heart would be good. I wouldn't be so anxious and I wouldn't have so much fear and things like that. And it really just, it stayed the same, everything stayed the same, and I was terrified and I had so much anxiety and I couldn't figure out why at that point. And really it was like so crippling, and I felt like I had the weight of the world on my shoulders all the time, you know, whether I was just sitting at home by myself or if I was getting ready and I was in Vegas getting ready to fight, you know, I felt the same way. I felt just like I had this weight on my shoulders that I couldn't shake off, and eventually it just broke me down, and I had no choice but to call out to God. And it was almost like a situation where I didn't want to call out to God because I felt like I wasn't worthy to ask God for help at this point. Like, I knew all along what I should have been doing, and that I was spitting in God's face the whole time, you know, and that I was turning my back on him, and I knew that I was wasting the platform that he'd given me, and I knew that I wasn't being a witness at all. And so then once I really needed him, I probably waited months and months after I'd even walked away from a lot of the things that I was doing. I waited a long time to call out to God and ask him for forgiveness, because I didn't feel like I was worthy of it. Like, just something in my head said, he's not going to help you, and even if he is, you don't deserve it. You know, you lay in the bed you made, and but I was wrong, and I finally broke down, and I called out to God, and it was almost immediately that he started to help me get my emotions under control and take that fear and anxiety away.
Yeah. What's changed now that you're walking with the Lord? How is life different? Like, how do you feel different?
I feel incredible. God's changed my heart's desires a lot, like we talked about. You know, my desires now are a lot different than they were then. I feel like that had to happen first. And I look at like the transformation that I've kind of went through. And back in the day, it was like all about flash and luxury, and that was just all my dreams, you know. And every time I'd get some money, I'd go buy it, you know. And now I basically could go throw all that stuff away because I don't use it anymore. You know, I have a lot of stuff and I don't use it. I literally, it's like trash to me, you know. It's like garbage. And that's not just me saying that, that's like the way I feel in my heart. I feel like that was a process of God bringing me to that place.
Yeah, it's totally that paradox of, you know, the world tells us that you've got to work hard, you got to do it, you got to earn it, you've got to do everything, and then you're gonna get it, right? Mm-hmm. You're supposed to like have arrived. Yeah. You arrived and had nothing. Yeah. Like, you felt like you had nothing, and 100%. It wasn't until you said, you know what, I'm fine with nothing 100%. If I have the Lord.